Now that we have our 3 flowers with the ink on them, we're going to let them dry a little bit, and then we want to take the heat embossing tool. I have a very old one here, but it just works the same. And you're going to go ahead and put the heat onto the acrylic. Now normally you don't want your acrylic to curl like an album or something, but with a flower we want that curling to occur because that's what gives it the dimension that we love. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this large flower, and I'm just going to go ahead and turn this on. I'm going to explain a little bit first because when this is on you might not hear my voice as well. What's going to happen is with the heat over it, it's going to start bubbling up. We want that to occur. It's a little bit hot, but it's not too hot to touch, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is take that when it starts curling up. I'm going to take the flower in my hand and kind of mold and shape it into what I want it to look like. So let's go ahead and start with that. And it is hot, so we want to be careful, but it's not too hot. And you have about a minute for it to kind of be pliable and work into the type of shape that you want. So once you have it where you like it, you just let it sit, and it'll take maybe a minute to hold its shape. Okay, now we have our flowers that have the dimension and they've dried and they've hardened back up. I'm going to add some glitter to the edges of it to really make it pop. So I have Zip Dry here, and that's a really great acrylic adhesive glue that works wonderful on the acrylic. And you're just going to go ahead and draw a line around the edge of the acrylic flower like that. And I would maybe do 2 petals at a time. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is have fun with some glitter. I have some Martha Stewart glitter in a pretty pink here, and you're just going to go ahead and do, oops, hold on, I gotta take this little stopper off. You're going to go ahead and shake that glitter onto the flower where the glue is, and it just gives it a beautiful dimension to the edge and some more color. I just want to shake that off, and then I usually like to take a small paintbrush and just kind of go ahead and brush those little pieces to the edge of the glue. So you're going to go ahead and do that with every single flower until you have all of them complete, and then you want to go ahead and put the brad in the middle, and I'll just show you how to do that real quickly here even though it's not done. Just go ahead and pile those up on top of each other and put your brad through. And go ahead, and you can really play with this. It's not breakable, so if you want to kind of squeeze those flowers together so that you get a nice tight brad in there and go on the other edge, it's going to look like that. And then you can see on the finished product how it looks so pretty with the raised dimension of that glitter. Alright, this last technique I'm going to show you is a fun technique with tissue paper, and there's several different ways that you can do it, but I'm going to show you how it gets nice and crinkly. The fact that tissue paper is very see-through, and when it's covered on the acrylic you can still see through, and it gives it such a great look. So what I have done is just cut a yellow piece of tissue paper quite a bit larger than your star, because if you want to crinkle it up you're going to need more material or more tissue paper than your star. Now I'm going to use something called Yes Paste, but if you don't have Yes Paste, which is more for collage work, you can use a simple glue stick and you would just simply cover the entire star with it. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Yes Paste and cover this entire star. Now you don't want to have it too thick, so you're going to actually use that amount over the whole entire star. And just cover the whole thing, and it can be a full coverage or not quite full. It doesn't really matter, because when you're crinkling up the tissue paper you will see where there's portions that are crinkle and portions that are just solid. So we have all of this Yes Paste on the star, and now you're just going to simply go ahead and cover it with the tissue paper. Now you have probably a couple minutes, but I just like to go ahead and work with it while it's really wet. to give it that crinkled look. And you can get as crazy as you want with this. Some people like the look of it just simply tissue paper over the acrylic. And then some people like to have a lot of crinkling going on. So when you're happy with it, you're going to go ahead and let it sit, probably for about 5 to 10 minutes until it sets. And then you want to go ahead and cut the edges of the tissue paper off. So you're just going to turn it over and cut it. It's going to go ahead and turn out and look like this. Isn't that great? So here you can see the finished banner. I showed you the 3 techniques on the star and the flower and the heart. And most of the products on this were supplied by GCD. This is Melody Ross's new line called Homespun Chic. It's so adorable, and it really makes this Home Sweet Home banner look great. So I hope you've enjoyed all these tips today and that it really took away the fear of working with acrylic. Just get out there, play with it. You might make some mistakes, but that's how we learn. This last tip I wanted to show you is an album I actually just made in the hotel last night. It is taking that same Sizzix machine or any embossing machine that you have and creating a frame with the embossing folder. I just love how this looks. What I did is took one of these tabbed pages, and what you do is run it through the embossing machine, but not all the way. You just want to go in a little bit and then take it out and then turn it and put the embossing folder on the side and just go in a little bit, and you are creating a nice frame around the whole page. Doesn't that look beautiful? So again, I hope you enjoyed this today with Scrapbook.com. All these supplies you can get at Scrapbook.com. And if you want to find more of my designs, you can go to my website. It's www.akissonthechic.com. Thanks so much.